2 days in a row. I'm wiped out, I'm tired. You don't realize how much it takes wearing all this PPE. My head feels like it's 100 pounds heavier on my neck.
It's been a long night. It's after midnight. We've been here since noon, and it's time to hit the road, decompress, and shower.
Nancy has just finished a shift on a COVID unit, where all the patients are dependent on a ventilator.
Generally, those people that are in that unit are not likely to survive. Since this whole virus situation started, there's only been 2 patients that have made it out of the unit and survived. That's very, very little. The age range was pretty great. There was a patient there who's 26, which I thought was really eye-opening because it just further reiterates how the COVID virus affects everyone. But this young girl, and she's still there, she's still fighting for her life, and it's sad. Home sweet home. Time to get these scrubs off.
My feet are killing me. It's been a long day. Pants, they are going to go into the basket.
I think now people are exhausted, and I think people just want respite. I think the nurses want to get back to what they were doing. You know, before this happened, their units have been turned so upside down. But I think at this point, people are just ready to quit. Quit the COVID crisis, not their job.
You know, as a nurse, we give all our energy to others and keep none for ourselves. I think that's why we're always tired.
Across the city in the Bronx, the virus is highlighting stark inequalities.
You have the projects, low-income housing, a large immigrant population. We are seeing mostly impoverished individuals. You see the Black and Latino community as well. These are our essential workers. You know, they're the bus drivers, they're the janitors, they're those that deliver food, deliver mail. And so while many people are able to quarantine themselves or they have the luxury of working at home, essential workers don't have that opportunity. So it gives them an increased chance of being exposed to the virus.
Black and Latino New Yorkers are dying at twice the rate of white residents in the city. After developing symptoms of fatigue and a headache, Christina has been sent home from the hospital.
I was crying. I was just more scared because I didn't want to be like some of the patients that we've seen. I mean, they get really, really sick.
And today, she's going for a test.
If it is positive, I just hope that I've built up some type of immunity.
I'm pretty nervous. I'm hoping it's not, but I just feel like a truck hit me and my muscles hurt.
Any symptoms right now?
Just fatigue and a headache still, and my stomach is not right.
You're going to tilt your head back all the way back as far as you can. Oh! Great. All right, you're all set.
It takes 24 hours to know the results, so that's going to be really hard to sit and wait on the results. So if things for me get really bad to where I have to go in the hospital, Derek has graciously told me he'll take care of Chloe and the dog. If it gets really bad and I don't make it out of the hospital, then Chloe and I have had the discussions about, you know, where she would go and who she would go with.
If Christina tests positive, she'll be one of the growing number of infected nurses, and some are becoming gravely ill.
when I was training in Brooklyn. There is a nurse there who works the night shift, and she kind of has this reputation of being a battle axe. And I obviously grew to love her and knew that she had the biggest heart in the world. And I was told today by a colleague that she's in critical care in the ICU on a ventilator with coronavirus. And this is symbolic of a lot of the angst and the hurt that happens with healthcare workers, because we're not only watching patients die, but you're also hearing about colleagues that are suffering. And so it feels like an attack on all fronts. It feels like it's a personal attack, it's a professional attack, and it's hard sometimes, I think, to see past that and to get through that, because it's really an acute stress. And it feels like it's unraveling a lot of our lives as healthcare workers.
That is the most challenging part, is that these patients are kind of alone and the families are not able to be there.
There was a gentleman that I was caring for, and he was just not in a good way. And I was holding his hand. I was like, I'm gonna go get some coffee and I'm gonna come back. I came back with the coffee and he was dead. Yeah. He died. So I was gone maybe 15 minutes, and there was nobody with him. So it was sad, and I felt to some extent that I did a disservice because I wasn't there, and I went to get coffee. So I hate that. I hate that more than anything. And then after that experience, you just flip back into nurse mode. You know, now you just do what you have to do.
A well-known ER doctor here in New York who battled to save the lives of so many others.
49-year-old Dr. Lorna Breen took her own life after weeks of treating patients with COVID-19. She died in Virginia Sunday.
When I heard about Dr. Breen, I wasn't surprised. It's tragic, and in the same day we heard about an EMS technician who also killed himself, and I just think it's the tip of the iceberg. The other day I was talking to a tech responsible for putting the bodies in the bags, and he said, that's all I did day after day. I would put a body in a bag, take it downstairs, and then there was no room downstairs. They were just everywhere. That's when the trucks came. They would fill it up with 55 bodies. They would leave, and then another truck would be right there. They'd fill it up. He said it was horrible. I said, you have to talk to somebody about it. It will never go away.
The end of a really long and hard week. I just finished the Zoom memorial service for a colleague, Dr. Lorna Breen. Lorna was a former colleague and a friend, and last Sunday took her own life. You know, her family says that it was related to the stress of coronavirus, and that really hurt. In addition, the head nurse that I think I mentioned in one of my previous diaries passed away last week as well. A nurse manager that I know also passed away. And an intensivist at Downstate, where I trained, also passed away. So last week really for me was the worst week of this. It really did feel like a war. In any other event, you would stop, you would mourn, you would be with people. Tough week. Hope next week's a little bit better.
By early May, hospitals are finally starting to see fewer admissions and fewer deaths. And New York is beginning to ease lockdown restrictions.
It's been a crisis and a painful one, but we're coming out of the other side.
Christina's coronavirus test was negative, but she and her daughter Chloe have returned to Missouri.
I'll talk
talk to you guys tomorrow.
Nancy is about to head back to Maryland to see her daughter and mum. And Derek is continuing in the Bronx.
It's been a great adventure. It's challenging, but the whole thing has been great.
Over 100,000 people have died from coronavirus in the US since March. Just under 30,000 of those are in New York State. It has survived what its governor called a war. Now it has to come to terms with how life has changed.
We tickled the brink in New York. The system is about to collapse. It's completely disrupted normal in every sense of that word. There is no normal anymore. There's no going back from this. And we will honestly never be the same again.